All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're taking a closer look at one of the most famous and honestly most powerful things Jesus ever said. It's found in the Gospel of John, and it might seem like a simple, gentle image at first, but we're going to see that there is so much more hiding just beneath the surface. So, this is it. John 10:11. I am the good shepherd. It's a line so many of us know, maybe from childhood. It just brings up these feelings of safety, of gentleness, and care. But what if I told you this familiar phrase was actually one of the most radical, most confrontational claims Jesus ever made? And that's really the big question we're tackling today. Is this just a nice little metaphor, or is it a full-blown divine confrontation? We're going to peel back the layers on this one. We'll look at the history, the grammar, the whole biblical story to really hear what Jesus' original audience would have heard. And what we find, well, it's pretty staggering. To really get this, we have to do a little time traveling. We have to put ourselves back in that world. Because for the people listening to Jesus, the word shepherd was absolutely loaded with meaning. You see, for centuries, Israel's story was just littered with bad shepherds. Corrupt kings, priests, leaders who totally failed the people. They were selfish, they fed themselves, scattered the flock. The prophets were always calling them out. But running right alongside that painful history was this deep, powerful hope for a true shepherd, one that God himself had promised would come and finally get it right. Now, this is where it gets really juicy, the timing. Jesus doesn't just say this on any random Tuesday. He says it during the Feast of Dedication. That's Hanukkah. And what was that feast all about? It was celebrating the exact moment Israel had thrown off corrupt foreign leaders and rededicated their holy temple. So Jesus stands up in the middle of this party and basically says, hey, you know how you're celebrating getting rid of bad shepherds? Well, look no further. The good one you've all been waiting for is right here. And he was plugging directly into promises like this one from the prophet Ezekiel. God had said, after all the failures of human leaders, I myself will come and be the shepherd for my people. So Jesus isn't just saying he's a nice guy or a good leader. He's claiming to be God, right there in the flesh, showing up to fulfill his own promise. I mean, can you imagine hearing that? It was an absolutely stunning claim. Okay, so the historical context is explosive, but it gets even more precise, even more powerful, when we zoom in on the exact words Jesus used in the original Greek. The language itself is a declaration of divinity. This, right here, is the heart of it all. Ego, eimi. These are the first two words Jesus says, and man, do they carry a ton of weight. In the Gospel of John, whenever you see Jesus use this specific, emphatic phrase, ego, eimi, it's like a giant, flashing neon sign pointing to his divine identity. It's not just, I happen to be. It's a profound declaration of his very being, and it's designed to make his listeners think of one of the biggest moments in their entire history. And this is that moment. It's the same formula, the same divine name that God used to reveal himself to Moses at the burning bush. So when Jesus says, ego eimi, I am, the good shepherd, he is wrapping himself in the very name of God. He's claiming to be the self-existent, eternal God of Israel. And then look at the word for good he uses, kalos. Now, this doesn't just mean morally good, like, not bad. It means something more like excellent, beautiful, worthy, the absolute ideal. He's not just a shepherd who does the right stuff. He is the perfect, radiant, ultimate shepherd in every way you can imagine. And finally, that phrase lays down, tithēmi. This verb is so important. It implies a deliberate, voluntary choice. He's in control. His life isn't taken from him by his enemies. He gives it. He is a sovereign shepherd who is in complete command, even in the moment of his own sacrifice. Okay, so we've seen the historical confrontation and the grammatical bombshell. Now let's pull the camera back even further and see how this one statement is actually the climax of a theme that's been woven through the entire biblical story from the very beginning. From the earliest days of Israel's story, God is called a shepherd. Jacob calls him the shepherd, the rock of Israel. King David, a shepherd himself, sings those famous words, "The Lord is my shepherd." The prophet Isaiah pictures God gently carrying lambs. And as we saw, Ezekiel promises God will come and do the job himself. The whole Old Testament is basically waiting for the shepherd. So here's the point, and it's a huge one. When Jesus says, I am the good shepherd, he is stepping forward and declaring that he's the fulfillment of all of it. Every single one of those hopes, every prophecy, Every prayer for a real shepherd, it all finds its answer in him. The Lord they sang about in Psalm 23 was now literally walking among them. But what's this shepherd's ultimate mission? His claim isn't just about his identity. It's about what he came to do. And it points right to the very heart of the Christian faith. And here's how it all unfolds. First, he lays down his life at the cross. It's not a tragedy, it's a sacrifice. Second, he takes it up again in the resurrection, showing that he has total power, even over death. And third, through that incredible act, he does something revolutionary. He gathers other sheep. That means non-Jews, the Gentiles, people from every background, and brings them into his one flock. And this is the end result. It's not two separate groups. It's one single unified flock, a new people of God, brought together from every nation and language on earth, all united under one shepherd. I mean, that was a truly world-changing vision. So, after looking at all this evidence, what does it actually mean for us today? What's the deep, personal promise inside of this claim? Or to put it another way, what does it mean to be one of his sheep? This right here, this is just breathtaking. Jesus draws this incredible parallel. He says that the way he knows his sheep and the way they know him actually mirrors the perfect, intimate, loving relationship that he and God the Father share. Just think about that for a second. We are being invited into a relationship that is modeled on the very inner life of God. So being in this shepherd's flock means you have this intimate knowledge. He knows you by name. It means divine union. You are literally brought into the family fellowship of God himself. And because of all that, it means absolute, unshakable, eternal security. And this is where it all lands. This is the ultimate promise. The shepherd who is God himself, the one who willingly died and rose again, makes this incredible pledge. If you belong to him, nothing and no one in all of creation can ever snatch you away. And so, after unpacking all of that, the history, the grammar, the whole story, it all comes down to this one final question that just echoes through time. Jesus said his sheep know his voice. And so the question for every one of us really is simple. Do you recognize the shepherd's voice?